Hey guys, so what's up? I'm back with another video of one of my songs. This one is The Bull. I released a few months ago on Hardwell and Air as a free download. It's really one of my favorite tracks because it's so unique and heavy, and just has a lot of thickness in the bass and like the whole low end, and that's what I was really going for. Obviously, with the name, kind of portrayed the idea of the bull and just a mean sounding song. So that was the whole idea behind the naming the track, and it turned out really cool. So I'm glad I put this song out as a free download. You know, I'm totally cool with doing those free downloads. I love doing that every once in a while to just give back to the fans, or simply just put a track out and have your own control over the promotion and everything as far as that goes. Sometimes it's a lot more fun and enjoyable to have complete control over your track. So I'll just dig in real quick. Basically, what I did for the sound design, it sounds a little bit complicated on the drop as far as how I made the bass, but really it's not. That's kind of the best part. I believe I made it with just one Spire sound that I put together, bounced down to audio, and did my processing and stuff. But overall, it's a pretty simple song as far as the sound design goes, which is cool. You know, like I've said before, don't overdo shit if you don't have to. If you can keep things simple and minimal, then do it, because everything will be cleaner and easier in the end for you as far as the mixing and mastering stage goes. So let me just play here to the drop so you guys just get familiar with the song, and then I'll walk through it real quick. So yeah, that's the main drop of the bull. Like I said, very heavy. I really love that 16th note triplet style bass. It's kind of a thing that I have done for a long time, so it came out cool. To go over the bass line, like I said, it is from Spire. So what I did is, this is the original bass with the MIDI muted out, because I ended up bouncing it down to audio, because it ends up sounding a little better and thicker once I process it and go down to audio. You can do even more shit with it and process it even more if you have to. So I'll solo the bass from Spire, the original. And then I bounced that down to audio and got this. So it should sound very similar. That's the whole idea. You can reprocess or bus and comp and do all your shit after you're done with your main bass with the plugin. I try to mute that out so I don't have to deal with it anymore as far as processing and on the CPU. You know, you can get it down and print it down to audio. But the main meat and low end is the sub sine bass I have, along with the kick drum, obviously. Down here, solo that out. And then the sine that's going to be underneath the main bass is this one here. And hopefully you're listening on good headphones or your monitors, because you won't be able to hear it on laptops. It's like a sine low end. So I processed that in another project, got it from, I don't exactly remember what I did with that one, but brought it in and didn't have to do any processing, because it sat well with already the bass that was done, so I didn't really need to do anything with that. Just to make it fit, since that takes up the whole low end, I had to roll off my main bass. You know, I could go even further sometimes at 200, because this is where your kick and sine is sitting, right in here. So I could even go here sometimes, depending on your kick and your sine, where they're hitting. Just make sure you solo them out while you're mixing them. If you're doing this EQing while everything is playing, sometimes you can't hear the exact muffleness or muddiness you're getting from the lows with the sub and the kick. So make sure you solo the sub and the kick drum. That's kind of how I've found it most useful when mixing. You know, you can hear everything a lot cleaner when you're soloing them out like that. But yeah, these two together, you can hear the sub. and then I'll take it out. So you can kind of hear how that gives the whole balls of the low end there, and obviously that's very important, or this song would be, without it, it'd be very weak. It'd be just mid muddy, you know, mid with a kick, and you know, it wouldn't have any power to it. So that kind of was a big part of it, the sine bass. And then some hits that I had, some synth hits here, and the synth risers. I'll show you what those sound like. And this synth hit I got from a sample pack that I just pitched in to, I believe, what are we in? Yeah, G. So I just pitched it right to the correct root key, so it fit with the key of the track, and it fits. It's good. So it's kind of just a quick hit. Then horns that I've gotten from a pack. I believe it was like a hip hop pack or something that I just pitched also to the root key and did some EQing. So just sucked out the low end a little bit because it would have messed with the bass line. I really wanted the bass to be forward, so I got rid of a lot of low end from all the fills and stabs and anything I had, just because that bass is a huge part of the track. It's pretty much the whole track, you know, like it's just a kick bass drop that's very heavy, so I didn't want anything interfering, you know, with the low end. And the fills, this is a huge part that I also found in another pack that I put in here. Which is the sickest part. I did a reverse fill going into this, so it felt a lot more heavy. So I'm sure all you guys know how to do this in your DAW. Just take, you know, for example, if we wanted just this first hit from this fill, I don't know how you guys can do it in your specific DAWs, but just bounce that down, you know, as a region or as its own wave. Let's see if it did it. I didn't grab it, but you would usually bounce. Just let me really quickly do it. Bounce it down as like a 24-bit wave, I'm saying, and then you can just bring it back in as another wave. So this hit here is this exact hit. All I did was just reverse it in my audio editor to make that reversed feeling right here. And I do that a lot. I even do that with my bass lines. Reverse the bass, bounce it down to audio, and reverse it and chop it and stuff. And you can get these really cool impact hits. And like overall, it just improves the impact of the bass because you're kind of rushing stuff into that first note or that hit that you want, and it makes it a lot more dramatic and hit harder. So that's a cool part there. That's part of the fills. Overall percussion, nothing crazy. Wide clap, no processing, just a good sample that I've had and didn't really need to do anything to it. Like I've said before, if you find something great, don't touch it. You know, you don't have to overdo shit and make it too overdone. You know what I mean? So that's mainly the drop, just all my effects up here. Don't really need to go into that. That's totally trial and error, and you guys know how that goes. It's whatever fits your song at the moment. Up sweep, down sweep, and all that good stuff. So I won't go too in depth with that. My break was really cool, pretty simple, but also a lot of cool elements that I put together from an internal Logic plugin, these gospels down here. Let me get to those. A cool thing I did, I filled up the hole a little bit here. This synth hit along with I believe it was an FX fill up here. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah, it was like a clap hit going with this synth hit that I had. Very simple synth hit, but they played off of each other to kind of fill the hole I had with my plucks right here. You know, guys like Martin Garrix and you know, Jay, yeah, he's done it before also. Like guys like that in their melodies, they don't really leave too much room for silence. You know, they fill this in with like a reverse reverb or some sort of effects just to make it kind of kick right into this first note. So that's kind of the idea I did with this hit along with the clap. So it's a nice fill that will fill that hole of the plucks. So that was a really cool part that I liked. That honestly I think I made by mistake by clicking on the keyboard once while doing the effects, and it kind of fit, so I recorded it in, and stuff like that it's great when shit like that happens by mistake. So then I'll go into the gospels I was talking about. These are made from the voice plugin from Logic. It's like basically having a bunch of singers at once, and you can kind of create through MIDI different like different voices, basically different layers, but it's coming from people's voices. So that is basically layering my main pluck. And you can hear the little crunch on the top of that pluck. If you guys have a bit crusher in your DAWs, or go to FabFilter Saturn, I believe some people use, if I'm not mistaken. You can bit crush shit in here too to make it have a little bit of grittiness on the high end. And you can see how, like, this synth really had no high, so I pushed all this up, but also put the bit crusher on there to give it a little high. So you can hear the big difference, you know, very subtle, but it's like night and day, you know, as far as the sound design and the processing of that sound. It's a totally different sound with that tiny bit of EQ and bit crush. So you can hear, too, a major difference with that EQing. And I hope to God everybody is using this Pro Q2. If you're not, please go buy it now. It's the best EQ that's ever been offered since I've been producing. So I did that kind of with all my plucks. Yeah, so you can hear how bright those get, and how much more, you know, presence those have with those subtle EQs. You can see all these bypass. Those are just me messing around with certain processing, and whatever works and whatever doesn't work, just bypass and get rid of. Then the bass, I kind of did a guitar-driven style bass. I'll put them all together. One's from Contact, from Native Instruments. I believe it was through a guitar. Yeah. The Scarby plugin, very good real style bass sounds. It has stuff in here you can just customize the presets to make them gritty and real sounding. And then a Silent one, which is that lower layer. And then this is Trillion. That's from Spectrasonic. That's an insane plugin. Very big sound bank. It just takes up your whole CPU, so be careful with it. So those are the bass lines. As a lot of you guys know, I like guitar-driven stuff and distorted bass lines and orchestra breaks and cool shit like that. So that's kind of why I did that style break. Didn't want anything too standard, and that worked out awesome. The other gospel thing I wanted to show you guys was this part here. Let me solo it. And as you can see, I'm playing keys on the keyboard to accent the pluck with these gospels to make them have like to play off. It's almost like an extra top lead in a way. So that was a very cool part that I felt kind of gave the signature to the breakdown. It kind of stood out to me and made it change a little bit for these last 8 bars, which was great. It didn't get too boring or anything. And then my orchestra drums from Contact, Action Strikes. I'm sure a lot of you know about these. It came with my Native Instruments Ultimate package. It's amazing drums. Real orchestra drums. You can program them any way you want. You can process them, of course, any way you want. I just put a CLA on there to peak reduct some stuff. And this is what it sounds like. And the best part, as far as your MIDI goes, you can literally draw on a line or and play on the keyboard up and down. And there's going to be different strikes hitting at a different velocity. You can program it in different rhythm. It's really cool shit. You guys should grab Action Strikes if you don't have it. It's through Contact. So that's that. That's mainly the breakdown. I won't go too much more into depth with that. And then it just builds a lot of effects, a lot of tension. You can see in my master channel here that I did some automation overall just to duck out the build so that the drop nails like really hard. I do this in all my songs, reverb build, high pass to take out the low end. And then the S1, I drop down to mono out of stereo. I drop down to mono in the buildup to, it kind of tightens up the whole sound. And then you slam it right back up on the drop to give it a lot more impact. So yeah, that's mostly it for the bull. The other thing, just accenting the bass, was this white noise up here. Very standard white noise you guys can use with any effect. And I just suck out the low end. You don't even need any of this. Sometimes I'll even go to 2K. You don't need anything in your effects with that type of effects, the white noise. Just get rid of that low end. It's gonna cause nothing but craziness in your mid to lows because there's no need for it. So make sure you EQ out those lows and mids of the effects. Last thing before we sign off, just the vocal I'll show you. It came from a pack. I believe it's a well-known vocal of, let me see where it is, that I kind of edited just to bring in this bleep sound to make it sound like it was swearing, but it's supposed to say funk. So it originally says funk, but I put in the bleep up here to make it sound like it was swearing. It sounded like... Yeah, so just found a beep sound that I could insert in there in the correct timing to kind of bleep that out to make it sound overall like the vocal is always, saying that in a way. Yeah, so that's it really, guys. I don't think there's anything else I can go over. Everything else is kind of just the same sounds I showed you, bounced down, processed and automated in a way just to help the arrangement. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, again, always inbox me, or I have my email down in the comments in the description below. So feel free to email me. I love talking with you guys and going over any questions you guys have. So just hit me up anytime. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll speak to you guys next time.